Hey, welcome to another episode of Hardcore Mixing. Today we're going to be talking about guitars and how to get massive, great wall of sound guitars that are articulate, that cut through the mix, and are balanced, because even though we want to chase that dragon of everything being louder than everything else, we do need to find balance. So I'll just play for you a really quick section of this song by Vicky Vale. You can pick up their album by clicking the link below. I can't thank them enough for letting me use their songs for these videos. I also couldn't have been prouder to have been part of creating this album. It's really wonderful, so you should definitely check it out. Now here's a clip of a nearly finished mix.
We don't get out alive. We're straight from the barrier. We don't make our own minds.
So first I'm just going to show you what I've done to the guitars here. We've got a Marshall, and what we did was we split each take out to 2 amps and then did 2 takes. So there's 4 guitar tracks, but we just did doubles. We didn't do real quad tracking. I'm not into that personally. But here's how the Marshall sounded. It's a good high gain sound, really piercing, can cut through a mix, but it didn't have the balls or the note articulation that we wanted. So we also ran an AC30 that was being driven with a tube screamer. A little more tame, not much high end to it at all, but it had the balls we wanted and the note articulation. And then we also had in the room a Rode NTK, just kind of picking up the sound in the room. And the way we had it set up was the microphone, and then about 15 feet away was the guitar player, and about 5-10 feet away from that were the amps. We got the sound of the actual guitarist playing the guitar. There's the actual pick tack on the strings in the room mic. I'll turn this up so you can hear it. So you can hear a bit of that pick tack there. It adds a nice air to the sound. And that was both amps being recorded at the same time in the same room, because we wanted that sort of authentic, roomy atmosphere to the song. Now there's one thing I'm noticing when I'm listening to this here.
We don't get out alive. We're straight from the barrier.
Is the bass is kind of standing out. Not necessarily in the most pleasing way. And it wasn't until near the end of the song where I figured out exactly what to do to make that just kind of blend a little better. Was this breakdown here. The bass is standing out, so my instinct was to turn the bass down, and I didn't want to do that because I liked how the low end was all sitting. I didn't want to, change the EQ on the top end, because that would change how it was interacting with the compressor. I didn't want to do any of that. I didn't want to, do too much to change the tonal balance of the bass. So what I ended up doing, let's solo it here. What we have there is a clean signal of a bass being played dirtily. So I figured I would take that and run with it. I just put 2 instances of the Ozone 5 exciter. You can use any sort of harmonics exciter, any sort of, overdrive, especially if it's frequency sensitive, and you can kind of key in what frequencies are being affected by the overdrive, or you can, split the track with an EQ and, duplicate it and only distort the high end. I left the low end clean because I liked how that was, and I liked the way it was hitting the compressor, but I thought it needed some more spank to it. And that is just filthy. I love it. And then we throw the guitar in with it as well. It pops out a lot less. It's got more of a consistency to it. It kind of marries it to the guitar, because the guitar distortion isn't changing with each hit. And with the bass, the kind of bite was changing with each stroke depending on the dynamics of the playing. So giving it that distortion going into the amp simulator kind of just brought it forward, while also kind of holding it back during those parts where it's poking through a little too much. Now let's listen to that again with and without. So the bass ended up contributing to the guitar sound because it was the same sort of, you know, grainy, articulate distortion. So we've got the sounds we want. All right, so that's big and it's forward and it's aggressive. It's exciting to listen to. But if we throw the vocals in, they're kind of getting drowned out. So again, my instinct was to turn the vocals up, and I'll show you how that sounded. And to me, that sounds like the vocals are now sitting on top of this mix, kind of dwarfing it, kind of taking all that power we just worked so hard to get with the guitars and the bass and the relationship between them. It's kind of negating that, and I didn't like that. So I fought with this for a little while before I remembered that side chaining is a thing. So down here, we've got this. It's unchecked because I took it out to show you that example. I just threw on a compressor that's keyed to the vocal. Now it's only hitting, you know, 1.5 decibels of gain reduction, and that's specific to the vocal. So we're not changing the balance of the instrumental parts whatsoever. All we're doing is ducking the guitar down a little bit whenever the vocal's around to just kind of glue everything together to get them all to get along. Let's listen to that without that side chaining again. And then with it. So you can hear how that's kind of glued together a little bit more to give the mix that cohesion going forward into mastering. Anywho, I think that's all I have to talk about today. If you have a topic in mind that you'd like me to cover in a video, let me know in the comments below, or if you have any questions for your own personal mixes, feel free to email me at todd@borlandstudio.com, or just add me on Facebook, shoot me a message. I mean, it's fine. I'm not weirded out by that. And if you're feeling up to it today, give that subscribe button a little clicky poo. It would really appreciate it. Look at his little eyes. You know, how do you not? Also, check out VR Music Group. They're the only company that makes drum samples that I use. Like, I'll make my own time to time, but primarily I use VR Music Groups. I think they sound amazing. I don't know how to end these, so I'm just going to slowly walk away from the microphone until I'm too far away.